Hi everybody, my name is Ursula Philpot. I'm a registered dietitian and I'm presenting a series of videos around how you can change diet and food habits to help you manage persistent pain better. Keeping hydrated and having enough fluid over the day is really important. It's easy to neglect fluid and particularly kind of water over the day. Having enough water in our bodies is really important for things like body temperature, to lubricate joints, to help our cells function properly. And actually it has got an impact on things like sleep, thinking or cognitions and mood as well. So we know it's really important to keep quite well hydrated over the day. There's a bit of a myth that you just have to drink water to keep hydrated. Things like sugar-free drinks, even tea and coffee can help with that. If it looks like a liquid, it will help towards hydration. One of the reasons why it's really important when you've got persistent pain to keep well hydrated is having enough fluid on board can really help with things like reducing headaches. It can help with joint inflammation, and it can really help reduce that friction when you're walking or moving as well. So making sure that the body is well hydrated will help with, or can help with, persistent pain. So drinking around 6 to 8 glasses over the day of fluid is what's really important to kind of reach those milestones for getting enough fluid in over the day. You don't need to drink more than that. It's not necessary to drink 3 or 4 litres of fluid a day, but 6 to 8 glasses is what most people should aim for. So reducing salt in the diet can help us to reduce blood pressure, and that can be really important for some people for health reasons. So having lots of salt in the diet isn't generally good for our health, and we'd ask people to think about working at reducing that salt intake gradually. What we know with salt and sugar changes are it takes the body a really long time to get used to those changes. So, if you're still having, if you're having a high salt diet, you'll notice those salt changes for about 3 months. And then about after that 12 weeks or 3 months time, you'll stop noticing the salt difference. So it's something you've really got to stick with and work at kind of longer term. So it's very easy if you're just tipping salt into food or into cooking to put too much salt into food. So one of the things that we'd suggest doing is measuring out your salt with something like a spoon so you can see how much is going into meals. So adults should have no more than around 6 grams of salt in the day. So that's about 1 teaspoon of salt. So a teaspoon isn't a lot over the day. So really we need people to take a little bit of care with, when they're using salt in cooking. And as I say, it can take a while to get used to reducing the salt. So do think about doing it gradually over the day. One thing that can help is to add lots of spices, lots of chilies and lots of other flavours into food. So if it's high flavoured, you tend to need less salt. Within the diet, salt tends to come from salt that we use at the table or that we use in cooking. But there's also salt found in processed and packaged goods as well. So anything in a tin or a packet tends to have a salt content in it. So it's not only taking care with the salt that you use in cooking, but it's also taking care with the amount of processed food that you eat over the day and really trying to, where possible, use fresh or frozen versions of those. We have got some tips to help you reduce your salt intake. So it might be things like buying tinned things in water rather than in brine, for example. Things like tuna or peas and pulses often can come in 2 different types. You can get them in water or you can get them in kind of salt water. And we would say go for the water versions of those. Other things might be to try to look for the reduced salt versions. So lots of sauces like ketchups or soy sauces come in reduced salt versions, and those would be the ones to go for. So we often get asked about what to do on flare-up days. And the things that we would suggest doing are really pacing yourself. Pace yourself most days, but particularly on flare-up days. So don't try to do all your jobs in the morning and run out of energy. Really think if you've only got a small amount of energy over the day, how are you best placed to spend that energy? You don't want to be spending lots of time chopping, preparing foods. So one of the things that you can fall back on is using kind of ready prepared foods or freezer foods, or even if you're stuck, bowl of cereal. A bowl of cereal with milk and a small glass of fruit juice, that's a fairly balanced meal and it's really quick and easy. Other products that you might be able to use would be things like build-up drinks or oral nutritional supplements, things like Huel, those kind of things. So they are really quick and easy and have all your nutrition in for the day. So they're good backup plans for flare-up days. Having other energy saving ideas. So for example, lots and lots of stock cupboard things that are quick and easy for you to snack on. Having perhaps if you've got a freezer, having some ready prepared food in that freezer and you can just heat it up in the microwave. You can even buy things like ready prepared frozen jacket potatoes, and they literally take a few minutes in the microwave to make. It's really quick and a really simple meal, but really filling. So there's lots of different options that you can really think about for those days where things are difficult. But planning in advance and having a stock of things that are really easy and ready to go tos can really help. One thing people ask me a lot about is, can what you eat and drink affect sleep? Lots of people with persistent pain have sleep problems, and the answer is yes, it can to an extent. So one of the things we would say is don't have caffeinated drinks. For some people, caffeine can last a really long time in the body. So even having a caffeinated drink in the middle of the afternoon can affect your sleep at night time. So really making sure that if you're going to have caffeine, you have those before the middle of the day. Other things that can help are not eating really big meals close to sleeping time, but also not going without food, too late in the evening either. So having something like, a healthy snack before bed or a milky drink before bed can help some people kind of to relax and wind down in that bedtime routine. We also know that there's some essential nutrients and vitamins and minerals that are linked to better sleep. So things like magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin C that we find, in diet. So really making sure that your diet is as good as it can be, that you're not having lots of caffeinated drinks, that you are drinking plenty of fluid, and that you're perhaps having a milky drink or a small snack before bedtime can help. So when you're thinking about changes to diet, setting goals, setting small, realistic goals is what's really important. So having a look at that Mediterranean checklist, or having a think about some of the little videos that we've done in this series, and thinking, what small changes do I want to make? What do I want to achieve with my diet? Decide how you're going to begin. Write down the goal specifically. If it's, say, having breakfast, well, what are you going to have for breakfast? How are you going to make sure you have that breakfast? Have you got breakfast items in the house? How are you going to make that extra time to get up earlier and have breakfast? So really think through the detail of what you want to change, and then think through the practicalities. Who's around that can help you achieve that? What kind of reminders might you need to put on your phone? What extra things you might need to buy at the supermarket to enable you to achieve that goal? So it's really thinking about ahead and trying to set yourself a realistic goal. Don't try and change lots and lots of things at once. Set yourself one thing to change, one small thing, and really think about in detail about how to achieve that. So once you've made one small change to your diet, the idea would be to keep that change into the diet, every day or every week, however you're going to do it, and then add on changes. So you can really build on small changes to make more changes, starting with small achievable goals and then adding on to those. And if you just make small goals over time, week in, week out, over the years, that's going to add up to a lot of behaviour change in the long term, but it's not going to seem too challenging or unachievable in the short term, and that's really key. So thank you for listening to the video today. This is one of a series of videos that you can access from the Rethinking Pain website or the Rethinking Pain YouTube channel. In addition to that, we also have a diet therapy workshop that runs, and you can see a member of the Rethinking Pain team if you would like to access that workshop. And the more people we get, the better. So please come along.